Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto, Willies. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto, Willies, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and good morning to the entire rest of the world who receives us through the signals of our internet created by we the people, you the taxpayer, and of course, good morning to all those receiving our 100,000 watt signal through those magical boxes known as radios, aka Howard Reynolds machines. And I have a big apology that I must first make to the world on behalf of the United States of America. My brothers and sisters overseas, my brothers and sisters in other territories, other lands, America does have a problem. We have a problem. And it is true that as we preach to you what you should do, there is much more that we need to look in the mirror and do for ourselves. And I want to make a humongous apology to my audience for having believed in most of America, that most of America could not be hoodwinked. It was me seeing America through some rosy glasses. It was me seeing America for what I hoped America is. But all I can do is continue to strive and try to make America live up to who it claims that it is. And without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to two of my favorite brothers in the studio, El Señor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Bibber.
I am just shocked. I am speechless. I'm flat. I don't see how this could have happened. I really don't. For anyone out there who did this, shame on you. That's all I got.
Thank you, brother. My dear brother, Jack Van Bibber.
Well, I was sitting there. Yesterday, excuse me. I tried to pay, extra attention to what the day felt like and what the feeling was. So, I paid extra attention to how the day felt, election day. It started with an ominous line of thunderstorms working its way through Houston on the way south to the coast. And the feeling was ominous, and you didn't know what was going to happen. I had a cautious apprehension. Will we elect a president or will we elect a dictator? What would the world be tomorrow? As the day all wore on, I saw that the rain had rinsed everything clean. I was cautiously hopeful as I looked at the sky with its multi-layers of clouds, gray and blue, over a bay of green. What will it be? Gray apprehension or blue hope?
Brother, thank you for those words. Now, to all our listeners, for those of you that are, and callers, don't start calling yet, because I have a long soliloquy. But I promise you it won't get past 6:30, I hope. But beforehand, America, I keep in the depths of my heart to say, most people are good. And I stand by that. Most people are good. We are subject to our carnalities. We're subject to the resistance. We're subject to the externalities that plays on our fears. And that may sound like a cliche, but it is true. It is true. America revealed itself, however. How I want my biggest fear, or not fear, but my biggest worry is what Donald Trump has taught not the American people, because the American people are victims to this behavior. What it has taught the politicians, those who are seeking your vote, that get your vote by all means necessary. If it means making you scared, if it means making you scared of others, if it means making you harm others in the process, do whatever it takes to win. And my fear is that the Democratic Party, progressives, etc., would have learned that from Trump because he played it to the T. Before I get a little bit deeper, let me just give you a little kind of a thing. We have Kamala Harris, a Black Asian woman who is married to a Jewish guy. And let me back up first. You know, I don't believe in race, but we live in a racialized society. And that is the way campaigners, or in this case, that is what and how Donald Trump played it. But it turns out that what he did, and I try to explain this on several blogs and stations before, is in the same one community. If I have a community, Dearborn, let's use Dearborn, Michigan as an example. Because of the technology that we have today with social media and other places, and because we know who is doing what where, this one person in one domain, in one group, would tell that group of people, Kamala Harris and her Jewish husband hate Palestinians and they will not do right by Palestinians. And then they will go and multi-target to Jewish people and say, Kamala Harris doesn't like Jews because, and in as much as she's married to a Jewish man. So we have now used the technology to implement our largest, or to bring out our largest fears. And the master marketing of the Trump campaign was able to do that just right. But you know what? 39% of white men didn't believe it. 47% of white women didn't believe it. 78% of black men didn't believe it. 92% of black women, the stalwarts of democracy, didn't believe it. 44% of Latinos, Latino men, didn't believe it. 61% of Latino women didn't believe it. 50% of all other voters, which comprise about 6% of the electorate, didn't believe it. So my question is, what happened to 59% of white men? What happened to 52% of white women? What happened to 54% of Latino men? What happened to 37% of Latino women and 20% of black men? 7% of black women. What is there within Donald Trump that made you pull that trigger and say, it is okay, I think I can vote for this guy because? You take a look at the ads that were placed all over the country. There are two kinds of ads that were placed around the country. There were the generic ads that targeted everybody's, a large propensity, or large, the majority, that 59% white men, 52% white women, 20% black men. And by the way, I've heard it directly. That transgender tape that a lot of us progressives laughed at. Come on, you probably have met one transgender person and doesn't really matter. But like I've said many times, these things were psychologically profiled for the feeble-minded. And I say that with dear respect. These things were calculated, placed there. They were done in a manner with science. What triggers these people? How? Everybody's sitting down there and analyzing exactly what do we need to change in America? What do we need to change in America? One of the reasons you see me talk about people getting together and letting folks, you know what, my term, when Appalachia, the barrios and the ghettos all get together, our problems will be over. And I mean that, and that is true. The problem is that group that I just told you that voted for Donald Trump. We have to get to them before their carnalities get to them. And what has happened over the last few weeks didn't allow that to happen. Let's give a good example here. One of the reasons I talk about the horrendous mainstream media is in order for you to hate somebody else, you have to feel like having that other person around has a material effect on you. Donald Trump, from the time he left office, in as much as he left a destroyed economy, in as much as he left death behind him with a pandemic, as much as he had done nothing for those people who have voted for him, sans the wealthy people. Done nothing for them. Absolutely nothing. Constantly used the marketing technique that said, remember how it was. Remember how it was. Prices weren't high when I left office. Remember how it was. Gas was cheap. Gas was under $2. Remember that. He never said gas was cheap because there's a pandemic. Nobody was driving. And the pandemic was exacerbated because of my poor management. That's not what he said. He just gave the top number. Gas was cheaper. The economy was greater. What did you do to make the economy great again? Oh, well, I had Obama's economy and I really did nothing. I gave some huge tax cuts. But as far as what I did to make the economy better, what did I do? What physical policy did I pass for the economy? None. Right? Now, so he constantly hyped on the economy, how great it was. Are people feeling pain a couple years ago that have continued to today? Yes. But what's the genesis of that pain? What created that pain? Donald Trump, the mismanagement of the economy, the mismanagement of COVID, the inflation rate that got zoomed up because we got into supply chain issues that then were exacerbated by corporate greed, created again by Donald Trump. So the inflation price Kamala paid for, she had nothing to do with it, but solve it under the auspices of President Biden. All the deviances within the economy were solved by President Biden. CHIPS Act, Investment Reduction Act. I mean, all these different things that have zoomed the economy, where a Wall Street says whoever gets this economy gets a great economy. It is true that the economy was not shared equally by the working class, but that has nothing to do with Biden specifically. That has to do with what we preach all the time. What we want as a real society, what we claim we want is what Donald Trump says no to, which is what would make the economy better for the working class, better for all those people that claim the economy was better when the economy wasn't better. But again, Donald Trump said it was better, and it instantiated in your head that it was better. In fact, Donald Trump's rating as a president went up not when he was in office, but when he left office, because he constantly tell you, I was a great president, I had a great economy. And for those who don't know, those with minds that are not, well, I won't say that, but they don't know. They believe, oh, the economy was great. And the economy this, the economy that. But you know what, guys? It's a combination of how that was put together. What they did was it created a narrative. They created a larger narrative about a good economy, and then they super targeted to the right people. White people, Latino, black men. I mean, it was magical. And the problem is that it works. The problem is that it works. But for all those people you see that I mentioned, my 39% white men, my 47% white women, my 78% black men, my 92% black women, my 44% Latino men, my 61% Latino women, and the rest. They didn't buy it, but too many did. Too many said, somebody with a flawed character, somebody that raped women. And I said it because a judge said it after looking at the evidence. Somebody who looked at you, working class people, and told you or stiffed you. Some people who looked at many of you working class people who wanted to ascend and to be a Donald Trump that you saw on TV, that you joined his university and he ripped you off. Somebody who looked at his charities and stole. Somebody who didn't pay taxes as he expected you to pay. Somebody who did all these things and you looked at him. You, 59% white men, 52% white women, 20% black men, 77% black women, 54% Latino men, 37% Latino women, 45% other. You looked and you said, that's okay. A qualified person, somebody who could articulate a sentence, somebody who had done right, somebody who many had made a caricature of, but when you look at the record, the experience record, she was experienced in government, she was vice president, and somebody who came off a TV show with a business degree who has simply bankrupted every single company he's been with, somebody who goes on TV and uses his presidential race to sell you golden shoes and cards, a caricature of a person, a feeble-minded, not very serious person. You looked at that guy and you had a talented, well-spoken, somebody who cared about humanity next to that guy. And you said, that's who I want to represent America. When I started the program today and I said to the rest of the world, I apologize on behalf of America. I really do. I could not be more embarrassed as an American. I could not be more disgusted as an American. I can tell you to all of those that, yesterday on the program, I talked about what my mother said because I was a black Latino Caribbean man. My mother and father both would always say, you have to work twice as hard to get half as much. And again, I came over here and it pissed me off because I said, it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. And I made it my mission to change that sort of a thing. And it goes for women as well. And to put it bluntly, mostly for women. Because more so than any racial issues, the issue of sexism is much harder. Ask Hillary Clinton. Ask now Kamala Harris. She had the triple whammy. And the thing about it is when we talk about supremacy, folks, when we talk about white supremacy, the perpetrators of white supremacy have little to do with whiteness. The perpetration of white supremacy has little to do with whiteness. And to watch 52% of white women, 50, and just women in general, vote for the person who had made sure that judges were placed into power that put the lives of many women in danger, the health of many women. That tells you something. That tells you something. But it's the only country we've got. We've regressed. And as an activist, as a host, and all that comes in between, it is my duty, it is my calling to tell us bad things happen, and we just have to brush it off, get up, and remember one thing: the resistance begins. The resistance begins. I want all of you that are feeling hurt right now, all of you that think it's all over. I'm from a Central American country where a hell of a lot of worse things have happened before. The resistance begins. This one is tough because the Trump administration is going to go into government and destroy institutions, and it's going to do a lot of damage to the executive. A lot of damage to the executive. So we will have 4 years of damage to the executive. We will. The question is, how much of it can be stymied? And the other thing is, how can we bring those people on the wrong side of morality, on the wrong side of what's right? How can we bring them into the fold? I got a text as Donald Trump was seen sure to win from somebody I consider a good friend, white guy, and he opened up. And he started to tell me why these things happened. And he gave me the DEI argument as to why people voted the way they did. And I listened to his true text, and I watched, and I saw in his wordiology, I saw all the reasons for the fear, for those who allow themselves the fear, and how he likely voted. I'm disappointed in America. Those of us who did the right thing, should be disappointed in America, but this is our country as well. And it is upon us as citizens of the United States, it's upon us for the sake of our children, to stay in the fight and to be there to protect them. And to the women of America, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry that many of you now were sentenced to death. And that's not a hyperbole. Many of you have lost your reproductive rights. Many of you are no longer in control of your bodies. And yes, there are most women, yes, they did support that. There is a complex that defines that, and it's something that we have to work on. It is something we have to solve. But brothers and sisters, before I'm going to the phone in a second, don't let what has happened have you lose faith in your fellow person. Don't let that, when you go out, don't let that just let you climb into a ball. Keep expanding, keep talking, because if we had more time to do it, just maybe things could have been better. The disappointment and the hurt's gonna last probably till January 20, a little bit after, to have to watch this guy get inaugurated as the leader of America. The rest of the world is going to realign. Let me let you know this clearly. America is no longer that nation that people will look up to with seriousness. They will look up at America as the country that has the most nuclear weapons and that can blow any place off the world. And because of that, it will be an unstable superpower. But this will give great impetus for the likes of BRICS to come into play. This will give great impetus for the rise of Russia, Brazil. But anyway, let's get to you because you're the most important. Let's go to Betty. Come on in, Betty.
Oh, good morning, Egberto. We had a lot of good morning, yeah. We had a very naughty people that weren't nice. They voted for someone that we can't never understand in our life. We have to be a good sport, but they are on my poop list, my poop nerve, top of the list. And I have nieces and nephews. They're all red, and that's my pain in my heart. That's where mostly, and I blame my family too, from that. But, a lot of families and people go through a lot of heartache. Look at the Kennedys. Hey, Bernie got back in. And what we need to do is what we're doing now is keep a stiff upper lip and go on through the rain and one day at a time. And I love you, Egberto. You did a good job last night.
Thank you so kindly, my sister. I appreciate you, okay?
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very much, my dear. Look, she's absolutely right. We got to just keep that stiff upper lip. The interesting thing is that for those people who thought they were aggrieved and voted for Donald Trump, the policies that Donald Trump supported, and for those who are listeners to my program, I mean, a lot of this we're going to go through, are the policies that keep them down. And this is actually verifiable, but we'll have to talk about it. And hopefully in the next 4 years, we can really get to people so that their minds would not be easily controlled as it was during this election. Let's go to Brother Donald. Come on in, Donald.
Hey, good morning, Egberto. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fine because I'm with my peeps. So I'm doing fine, my brother. Talk to me.
What time am I picking you up?
You can pick me up at any time, man.
We're just going to run down to the border real quick. You step over to the other side, pick up some souvenirs. That means you left the country, and you come right back in, and I'll bring you back.
Thank you.
We'll miss you.
Well, look, I'm glad that you're willing to be my coyote, okay? Thank you, brother.
Well, I'm waiting on the popular vote there, and we're going to have a discussion on it tomorrow as soon as the popular vote comes in.
Well, it seems like he could possibly win the popular vote. And let me tell you something, okay? Believe it or not, Donald, that is I don't want to say scary. I don't get scared. But that is, like I said earlier, I don't know if you listened to my monologue earlier, but this is more about America than it is about Donald Trump. It is more about America, and that's something we got to do something about. But anyway, Donald, thank you for calling, brother. You have a great day.
But here's the thing, Egberto. No, don't cut me off yet.
Okay, go ahead.
Enough of us still in America that will stand up to the bullies, that will not let somebody be persecuted for their race, their gender, their sexual preference, or anything else. And that's the key. We will fight for that too, because it's freedom. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're anything else, you hate as much as you hate and love as much as you love, but you have the right in America to do that. And if that is ever treaded on, you will see an uprising that you've never seen before.
I hope so, brother.
Okay with it, for the simple fact is the reason it's called a marriage or a union is because they would have to change all the laws in the United States to create something else. Who you marry is up to you. Well, who you worship is up to you, but we are still in America. And that's it.
I appreciate you, brother. You take care. Let's go to Derek. But before I go to Derek, I just want to say this. What Donald said is so great, right? He said, you can marry whoever you want, etc. Donald, do remember that Donald Trump is likely going to get 2 more Supreme Court justices to appoint. And so far, Clarence Thomas has an issue with the rights that we gave gays to marry now. So we'll see. Derek, come on in, my brother.
Hey,
Derek,
Egberto.
Good morning, my brother. How you doing?
Good morning to you. Yeah, well, Egberto, I'm not surprised. America still suffers from 3 main drugs, and that's racism, sexism, and materialism.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was saying during the election, man, despite all that people talk about what he's being guilty of and he's being a felon and stuff, Egberto, Donald Trump is a native son to the United States. You have a whole lot of people that practice a lot of hypocrisy. Unfortunately, he reflects what the country is.
Thank you.
Isn't it interesting that where a lot of the blue states were? Don't you see that the problem, and I keep telling that to our people, the Democrats, is that your problem is not in the money making hub of America. Your problem is that you never go into the rural areas, and he has so much red covering those rural areas. You will never win. That's
right. Derek, don't leave yet. Derek, I'm so glad that came from you, because we preach that so much, Derek. You have to go and hug on them rural people, because to them, all those other people become others because they don't know them. So, I mean, what you said is profoundly important, brother. Thank you very much for just being who you are, brother. Peace.
Yeah, thank you. Peace.
All right, let's go to Johnny. Come on in, Johnny.
When Brother Magic Jack answered the phone and greeted me with good morning, I said, "Is it?" So shows us the power of persuasion.
Yeah.
So even though we outnumber, even though Democrats, and I include myself in that temporarily, even though I'm a progressive, I don't necessarily think that progressives identify themselves as Democrats. They're more like they will associate with the Democrats. The other parties, you can't. They just won't do it. Even though we outnumbered them, they have on their side the corporate industrial oligarchy who own and control more microphones, bigger microphones, and therefore they have the power of persuasion on their side, even though we have recent attacks on ours. So the challenge here is, number one, don't give up, like you said. You can take a break for a few days, relax, get yourself reoriented, and remember not to put on your poop list the wrong people. That's the tragedy that the other caller was about to make.
Right.
People who voted like me in red states for Cenk Uygur, that's not the issue. The issue is the candidates in the centrist side of politics who did a 180 during the campaign and alienated a whole bunch of people. And that's easy to alienate people when the other side shows that they're being untrue to you. You see, they can play both sides because they've got the microphone. And that's why we have to support KPFT, Pacific Radio, Free Speech TV, Link TV, Jim Hightower, and all these other left-wing independent media. We have to do it. We have no choice. And we have to activate now. Remember I said we got to hit the streets, literally and figuratively? And that includes making sure that you don't show any fear. Because the other side, they're bullies. They're a bunch of bullies is what they are.
Johnny, you nailed it. Johnny, let me just say this, because I'm glad you put the plug in before I put the plug in. When Donald Trump or his sycophants went on TV, they would constantly have a whole lot to say. Under us, inflation was low. Under us, the economy was great. Under us, the gas prices was under $2. And they would go out and they'll say these things one right after the other, right? And the mainstream media never push back. They'll just have a set of questions they want to ask. They'll allow all that junk that these people say into the ethos. And because it went unanswered, people would believe it. The independent media doesn't operate like that. I don't operate like that. I actually look at the numbers. I ask the right questions. I probe, etc., etc. The mainstream media doesn't do that for one of several reasons, which we've discussed many times. So when you came out and made that plug for independent media, that is more powerful than you would ever believe. I'm watching the mainstream media and they're making it seem like this Trump win is so difficult to understand. It is not. It is not at all difficult. Johnny, thank you for calling in and thank you for what you do, bro. Peace.
And I'll add to apologize. I want to apologize also to the Palestinian people and the people of Ukraine. God help all of them. God help us too. Because now we're creating more terroristic notions towards us.
Well, I mean, Palestine is now going to be beachfront property. I hate to just say it that way. It's beachfront property. Netanyahu saw the wave come in. He fired his defense minister yesterday, and it's open season. And you know what? What can I say? Thank you very much, Johnny. Let's go to Jacob.
Que paso, amigo?
Que paso, my dear brother? Talk to me.
Hey, Egberto. She got mollywopped. I mean, she got destroyed, and I knew it, and it pulled out right. 16% of the brothers from this country, my people, didn't vote for her. She got 80. She got like 80%. That was decent. That wasn't even the deciding factor, bro. Even with the sisters, they gave her 90%. The Latinos. 97%. Bro, that's what for the women. That's like 40% for the men or whatever it was, and then whatever for the women. Bro, I'm telling you something, man. This is what it is. She fumbled the bag. What I mean by that, she could have won, bro, but she harped on abortion, called a women issue of women health. She should have left that alone. She already got that in the bag. What she should have did is distance herself from Biden, said and just admitted she knows it's a migrant problem.
Jacob,
I know it's a migrant.
Can I interrupt you a second? Jacob? Let me interrupt you a second, please. You can agree to disagree with me here. This is not on Kamala Harris. I'm sorry. This was not on Hillary Clinton. This is on us. This is on us. We are the ones who have chosen to elect somebody that's going to harm us and reduce the stature of the United States. This is not on Kamala. I'm sorry. And I'm not going to let women, my brother, I'm not going to let this woman.
I ain't talking about that.
No, I know. Sir, I get it. I know where you're coming from, sir. I really know where you're coming from, sir. I really do.
You know what I was going to say. You don't even know what I was saying, though. What I was saying was, as far as her campaign was ran, it's not about Hillary. Who said something about Hillary?
No, I did.
I'm saying, but you were saying, like I was saying, I wasn't even talking about women.
No, I know, sir. I wasn't trying to say you said that. I was just adding to what you said. That's all. I wasn't trying to put that on you. But what I don't want people to make the mistake and do is I don't want people to make the mistake and just say all the different things that Harris should have done. It's not all the different things that Harris should have done. It's who we are. But Jacob, my line's filled up and I got to go. But we talk, you have free. We talk another day, brother. Let's talk another day. Thank you, brother. Let's go to Moses.
Good morning, my brother.
Good morning, sis. How you doing?
Let me say with full confidence, I am not afraid and I am not dismayed. America, do not be afraid nor be dismayed. Put on strength right now. Go forward. This battle belongs to God. He does not fight like man.
Mm-hmm.
He brings the rebellious where he needs them to show humanity that no man is above the law. God does not fight like man. One generation after the other, we saw it in the Second World War. We saw Hitler almost ate up the whole world. And when the time was ready, we saw the whole of humanity saw him brought down to the sides of the pit. God does not fight like man. Do not be afraid. Put on strength and go forward. Go forward and stand up and see what it is we need to do so we can stand up against the rebellion that is coming before us. Do not be afraid, America.
Thank you, sister. Appreciate you, sister. Thank you very much. My lines are filled up, so I'm going to give everybody about 45 seconds. Thank you so kindly, Moses. Let's go to Peter. Peter, 45 seconds.
Oh, and thank you so much, Egberto, and thank you to 111,000 voters of CD2 for the vote of confidence. And of course, I fell short of my goal, but I do have a question for you. It's related to Donald Trump's convictions and his 34 criminal convictions. So, question: what happens to those? And again, thank you so much, Egberto.
Thank you, brother. Let me just say that he will be sentenced in a couple weeks, and more than likely, they'll just give him a slap on the wrist. He will then go into power on January 20th. When he goes into power, he'll fire Jack Smith. When he fires Jack Smith, the Justice Department will drop all the charges against him. The charges in Georgia, which are state-based charges, will be placed on hold because you can't really prosecute a president while he's serving. He will likely, in my humble opinion, die in office, and our president will become J.D. Vance. That's my prediction. Thank you very much, Peter. Got to go to John. All right, come on in, John. John, you're on. Okay, John isn't there. Let's go to Richard.
Hello?
Richard, you're on. Yeah, you're on, Richard.
Yeah, totally wrong on a lot of things that you said already. I just heard the part of the show. I haven't even looked at the results, but Harris did run a bad campaign along with Allred, because I talked to Allred and I told him, I said, hey, if you don't get the rule vote, you're not going to win. And he did not campaign a rule vote. He ran on one issue, which was abortion, which he shouldn't have. Just do one issue. That's the reason why. And Harris lost the white women's vote for the most part. So that's what she was after, and she thought she could win just on that, and she didn't. So the whole Democratic Party miscalculated the whole election, so to speak. So that's why you had a problem with what you have now. What happens now? Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy 4 years. So.
Well, let me answer you, Richard. I completely disagree with you. I mean, if you were a woman. If you were,
you just blame the mainstream media.
No. May I finish? Did I let you finish? Let me finish now. Let me answer your statement. First of all, this is not on Kamala Harris. This is on America. Secondly, Kamala Harris did what no other Democratic candidate did, and she did go campaign in rural areas all over Pennsylvania, all over Michigan, all over the state. She did her part. This is on America. This is on America. And when it comes to her sole purpose wasn't running on abortion, but abortion for women is a critical issue, an issue where women were dying in Texas. As a man, you may not see that, but women, it's a critical issue. The issue now, why the only group of women that supported her in the majority were white women, that has white patriarchy reasons, rationale behind it, something that my 33-year-old daughter came and said, Dad, let me tell you something. I knew it, but she explained a whole lot of things. And whenever you look, placing the blame for America making an immoral choice on Kamala Harris is exactly the problem that we have in America, because we don't look at the core issues that actually create the problem. But everybody has a right to speak. Thank you very much, Richard.
I'm sorry. That's the core issues with the Democratic Party, and you don't even look at that. And
no,
you ran,
sir. I'm sorry. That's not the core issue of the Democratic Party at all. That is what some would like to say. The core issue of the Democratic Party is actually vast. This is not on Kamala Harris. This is on America. Let's go to Brian.
Yeah, because she ran.
Come on in, Brian.
Yes. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm not doing fine, but I know you're happy.
No, the election's going to happen. The outcome's going to happen whether I want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
And she ran on abortion. Here's some facts. 50% of the people are men, 50% of the women. 50% of women don't care about abortion. They care about the food that they cannot get for a decent price. That's the core value. And you're denying the election already. I'm very surprised that the outcome was public.
Why are you saying I'm denying? Wait, hold on, Brian. You came on here, and the second sentence you gave was not a true statement. Who's denying the election? When did I deny the election? He won. I never said he didn't win. I said this is America. He won. When did I deny the election, sir?
You're denying the results.
He won. How can you say I denied the results? I said he won. How can you say I denied the result?
You said the American people don't know what they're doing.
And I stand by that. I mean, if you believe, listen to what you just said. Let me just prove my point. Let me prove my point to you. You said people are concerned about prices. That's what you said. You said that, okay? Now, I can go to before the prices were rising and to what will occur based on Donald Trump's proposed policies. In either case, that is a Donald Trump issue, but America still voted for it because they didn't understand economics. Okay? Donald Trump is the genesis of America's inflation, and Donald Trump will be the genesis of us having inflation again when you apply tariffs. That's a statement of fact. That's just basic economics 101. So what I'm saying is no. I mean, it is okay for you to call into my program and tell me, my dear brother, that, well, you're wrong for saying X, Y, and Z. But let's not argue facts here, because the facts are on my side. Continue, sir.
No, I'm sure you have other callers. So continue.
All right. Well, great. Thank you, brother. Look, let me just say this to you, though, Brian. Congratulations on having won the election. You won't see us take people on January 6th to the Capitol and complain. This will be a peaceful, Donald Trump will be peacefully receiving the keys to the White House again without a problem. Those of us that are disappointed, we will go ahead and present the loyal opposition. You have a wonderful rest of your day, Brian. Take care. All right, folks. Thank you, brother. Look, folks, I just want, now that we have most of the users on, the listeners on, I just want to do the mea culpa once again, because I just thought I knew America better than I did, and I did not. And I told many people, including a friend of mine who just went to Mexico and said, I can't stay here and wait for the results. And she's in Mexico, and I tried to get her on the show last night. We had a show last night. And but I want to give my most sincere apology for my naivete on the understanding of how effective the policies, the fear that was imposed by Donald Trump is. So my apologies. And again, my apologies to the rest of the world. And to all of you that voted for Trump, I want you to really, really understand what has happened now to America, effective immediately. The rest of the world will move on from us, not directly, because we still have the bomb and we still have power, but they will effectively move away from us. And justifiably so, because we have proven not to be as mentally strong as a first world nation, as a strong nation should be. We would have proven to the world that 2016 was no accident. There is something wrong. There is something deeply wrong with us. And until we figure out and fix it, it will continue. Okay, Tag, I can give you 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Tag.
Egberto, I got to say that when you get out in the woods and you get lost, what do? You walk around in circles.
Yes.
That's where I think we're headed.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I can understand what happened. So see ya.
All right. Thank you, my brother. So, folks, I got 30 seconds to say, please don't despair. Please don't give up on your fellow man. Please don't give up on those who voted for Trump. Please don't. Please, because as a country, we have to come together. I am not going to hate on my folks who brought Trump back. I'm going to just try to keep talking because Trump is going to hurt them. Trump will hurt them. And let's be there for them. Please remember that the rest of the program is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know I hand this baby. I am what? Out! Support for this show, Politics Done Right, comes from politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It. As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom. It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willies.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.